The Indiana Pacers have been one of the more kind of interesting teams and storylines to follow pretty much the entire year so far this NBA season, and now that we're halfway through the season, they're pretty much kind of proving that they are a much better team than many people expected them to be going into this year. A lot of people had them at top of the list when it came to the Wembanyama sweepstakes at the beginning of the year of who was going to be getting him first overall. The Pacers were in a lot of those conversations, but due to multiple different reasons and how really good underrated team building and drafting this team has gone through, they have really put together a very, very fun and interesting team. Now, this is also making before the trade deadline, so it is a very real possibility that they could completely blow up the roster and maybe even try to get Wembanyama, and then everything I just said kind of out of the window. But as of right now, they are a very, very solid team, and I want to get into a few reasons how I think they're kind of shocking everyone and really exceeding expectations. And the first thing I want to get into is going to be, obviously, Tyrese Haliburton. Haliburton is having a breakout year. He's in his third year, I'm pretty sure, and he is showing that he is an all-star level point guard. Now, although he probably won't make the all-star team because he just got injured and he's not that popular of a player, and he plays for Indiana for one, so that's another big reason going against him, but still, Haliburton has shown that he is a very, very good player. This year, he is averaging 20 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, and 2 steals per game, and he has been very, very efficient as well while doing it. And the reason Haliburton has proven to be so important for this team and being such a vital reason is I'm pretty sure ever since he's been out, the Pacers have not won a game, and I'm pretty sure he'll be out for a few more weeks, which is not great for them at all. But Haliburton has just been a huge part of their success, and I think for sure he is showing that he's going to be their franchise player for years and years to come. And now another big reason to their success is I'm pretty sure that their rookies this year have been one of the best rookie classes in the entire NBA, because obviously the headliner of it was Bennedict Mathurin, and everybody knows him. He came into the NBA with real Air Force One energy, talking about LeBron more like LeBum. He's got to prove it to me. He's not the best player. I'm the best player. He's got to show me. And he just said a lot of things like that, and it really put him on the map, and he has been kind of backing it up. Now, obviously, he's not LeBron, because he's Benedict. They don't have the same name, so he can't be LeBron. That was a stupid joke. I apologize for that. But anyway, but Benedict has been probably, if it wasn't for Palo, he would be the rookie of the year for sure, as he is currently averaging 17 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 1.5 assists per game on 42% shooting from the field, and he is doing all that off their bench up until recently where Haliburton just went down, so now he took the starting spot, but he's just been very, very solid. But there's been even other underrated rookies as well in this class for the Pacers, as they also drafted Nembhard with their second pick in this draft, and Nembhard has been very, very solid. And if you don't know, Nembhard was the 31st overall pick in last year's class, and for the 31st overall pick, they have gotten great value as he's basically started almost the entire season for them now. And he's averaging 9 points per game, 3.1 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game, on 44% shooting from the field. And he's just been very, very solid for them. And if anyone ever says the 31st overall pick is going to start a lot of games for you, that either means one of two things. One, you're a very, very bad team, or two, you got an absolute steal, and it is the latter for Nembhard, and he looks like he's going to be very good and very solid for them for years and years to come, and that is great value. And then also even Kendall Brown, who they got in the second round of last year's draft, although he has been injured, he's been limited in the time that he's gotten in the NBA. In the G League, he has shown promise, and even in the few NBA minutes he has gotten, he has looked very, very solid as well, especially on the defensive end, and he has extremely high upside as well. And while on the topic of their young guys, I would also like to get into their second year players, one of them being Isaiah Jackson, who's one of the most underrated young defenders in the entire NBA. He can guard the 1 through the 5. He's a freak athlete. He's a very solid shot blocker. He can rebound very well. He can even extend the floor a little bit on the offensive end. He can score in the paint. He can do a lot of things, and they also got him with, I think, like the 17th or like the 20th pick or something like that. So he was a pretty good, valuable pick as well. And I think he's been very underrated for them, and I think he doesn't get enough love that he deserves, and I think he is a big part of this team going forward. And with how high his ceiling is due to his athleticism and his build and where he's already at, I think he's going to develop into a very nice player for them going into the future. And then also Chris Durante, who was an all-rookie team last year. He is off to a kind of a sophomore slump type season, but a lot of that's due to early injuries in this season. He's been playing off the bench for them ever since then, and so far has kind of struggled to find his stride once again, but he did just have a very solid solid game for them just last game, so maybe he's starting to get comfortable and he's already starting to turn this season around a little bit, and sophomore slumps happen all the time, so I'm sure he'll be fine as well. But from the guys like Tyrese Haliburton, who's in their third year, their rookie class this year, which is very solid and has tons of potential, and their second year guys showing tons of promise as well, I do think the future for this Indiana Pacers team is going to be very, very bright, and you have to put them as one of the brightest futures in the NBA, especially if Haliburton's injury does kind of keep on persisting. He isn't able to stay healthy for the majority of this year. They're probably going to start tanking a lot in the record column, and I think for sure that they might even get a high lottery, and they have had a very good track record of drafting players, so I think for sure that the Indiana Pacers would be making their team even that much better going forward if that was the case, and even if Haliburton is healthy the rest of the way, they could be even a play-in contender by the end of the year. And now, although their young guys are a huge part of this team, and especially going forward, it wouldn't be right for me to say how the Indiana Pacers have been so good without also mentioning everyone else on this roster and how they have impacted it. I mean, they still have guys like Buddy Hield, who has been very, very solid, and he's actually having a very solid year this year. He is a great three-point shooter once again, like he's been for years at this point. He's a very solid scorer, and with how good Haliburton is at passing the ball, them two fit together very, very nicely, and Buddy Hield is a great floor spacer as well, and Miles Turner is actually having one of the best years of his entire career, if not the best year of his career, averaging the most points per game, 2.3 blocks per game, 1.5 assists per game, and 8 rebounds per game as well, shooting 37% from the three-point line and 55% shooting from the field. This is at least by far his best statistical year, and if he can just stay healthy the rest of the way, he legitimately will be having the best year of his career. Now whether that means he ends it on the Lakers or on the Pacers, I don't know yet. The trade deadline isn't here, but either way, he is having a very, very good year and has been a huge part to their success. And even outside of some of the bigger names, like someone like TJ McConnell is a very, very solid player for them. TJ McConnell is one of the most underrated defenders in the entire NBA. He's always giving you high effort. He can shoot the three, he can handle the ball, and he picks up full court as well. He's a very high effort, high energy defender, and one of the more underrated ones in the entire NBA. Then they have guys like Jalen Smith, who's a big who can stretch the floor, block shots, grab rebounds, and is a very versatile big, especially on the offensive end, which is very valuable for someone with his kind of like skill set that he has. And then also even someone that's kind of reviving their career is Aaron Nesmith, who was a lottery pick years ago, I think in like the LaMelo draft, maybe, or maybe even a year before that. I'm not 100% sure, but Aaron Nesmith has really revived his career since joining this Indiana Pacers team, and now he's not putting up like star level numbers or anything like that, but he's by far having the best year of his career and definitely carving out the biggest role he's ever had on an NBA team up to this point, and that is very fun to watch as well. So really, from Haliburton having a breakout year, from their young guys stepping up, them making great draft decisions, from Miles Turner having his best season of his career, Buddy Hield complimenting Tyrese Haliburton very good, and like I said, all the young guys stepping up as well. This has been all grouped together and is why they've been able to defy the expectations that were put on them in the beginning of this season. But I want your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you think the Pacers have been kind of like shocking the NBA with how good they've been? Do you think they're underrated? Do you think they're overrated? Do you think they're perfectly rated? I want your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe button. It would mean the absolute world to me, and I hope you have a blessed day. Have a blessed day, so you need to have a blessed day. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah, blah.